I would want to say to all of us, it's now 3 years since Madiba left us. And for us, we need to remember him. We need to think about him. We need to think about his ideas. We need to think about how he approached things as Madiba. We need to remember his record since he joined the struggle and until he became the first president of a democratic republic of South Africa. Madiba, as you know, was an extraordinary leader. Of course, the African National Congress has produced many extraordinary leaders. He was one of them in many ways. But what was important with Madiba is that he had been one of the most consistent freedom fighter. His approach to things, his bravery, his thinking made him to emerge at the early age. Firstly as a lawyer, and secondly as a youth leaguer, as an ANC, as volunteer number one during the volunteer year when the ANC organized volunteers to defy the unjust laws of this country, precisely because of his bravery and his calculation and his everything. He was appointed as the volunteer-in-chief, which followed the trust within the ANC leadership that he would be able to lead that campaign, and he did. And he has always been able to see ahead and to open the path and to have an objective to achieve. And we recall that when he was among those when the non-violent policies were not necessarily taking us any further. He was one of those who agitated for the armed struggle. And precisely because of his nature, when the organization took the decision that we must now embark on the armed struggle, he was once again appointed or elected as the first commander-in-chief of Umkhonto weSizwe, and he was given this very difficult task. And indeed, as you know, he became the first president of this country and really brought the country that had had such political violence, began to put it together, and indeed violence ended and South Africa became a democratic state, and he was the first. And again, you'll know many things that he said when he said never, never again in this country. So we must remember all of that when we remember Madiba today, to say here, 3 years later, the giant of this country, the icon, left us. And when he left us, the entire globe descended in South Africa. Very significant that even the President of the United States and the President of the Cuban Republic, who had never met in their lives, met here when they came to observe Madiba's passing away. So Madiba is a unique person. And I would think that as South Africans, given the challenges that we are faced with, if only we could remember Madiba and all come down to the level where all of us can agree on a number of things rather than to disagree a lot. Because Madiba wanted South Africa united, wanted South Africa to succeed. And indeed, this is what we should remember about Madiba. Madiba was indeed a father of our nation. Madiba was indeed a commander-in-chief. He was volunteer number one. And Madiba did many things as an individual that influenced the flow of our struggle or of our government. So we remember Madiba today by really just recounting few of the things that he did. Highly respected, very clear, principled, loved the ANC. His famous utterance to say, when I go to heaven, first thing I'll look for is the branch of the ANC. That was expressing the deep commitment and love of his organization. So we remember him today. We think about him. And I think that should inspire us to do more good for our country. Madiba, from fighting, Madiba and the ANC fought to liberate South Africa and create a democratic state. And in that democratic state, you wanted a united country. And this is what he fought for. It is part of what he was saying. It believes in the ideal of a country, a democratic and non-racial country, a country where opportunities would be equal to all. Once we went through the struggle and South Africa had solved its problems, one of the points that looked at unity of our people, nation building, was that, and he was doing this with the collective, was that we cannot look back and try to revenge to what has been done to us. As you know, that apartheid was very brutal. We said, no, that cannot happen. We need to say, let the bygones be bygones. Let us move forward. But it's important to know the truth. Hence the establishment of Truth and Reconciliation, the TRC rather. Because we're saying we need truth, but we need to reconcile. And therefore we need to build the nation. That, it was not just theory, it became practice. Those that had committed heinous crimes had to come, if they told the truth, they would be pardoned. I think that was a unique kind of situation under the leadership of Madiba. And therefore, we started a new kind of process of building the nation. As you know, one of our documents that emerged, it was the RDP, which indicated that we are reconstructing South Africa as a democratic state. That has gone very deep into the minds of the South African people. Is a task that we needed to do everything to ensure that we succeed to do, even if we have challenges that we have, particularly that have been influenced by the economic meltdown generally. But we need to do that. We need to say to ourselves, if Madiba was the founder of this democracy, what is that we need to do? Should we be so angry about many things? Or we should adopt his style of negotiating, of discussing, of working hard to find solutions in order to build the country? That's what we need to do if we remember him as a nation builder.